Hi, it's Rabbi Pliner, and welcome to Chinuch Matters. Today we're going to continue talking about the development of a child's character, middot development, parents' role, methods, tools, and to kind of give parents some guidance, some chizuk, to take on this very important obligation. We already have kind of mentioned, there's a sense from earlier comments that the education of middot is not the same as the teaching of mitzvot, textual learning, or any other school subject. Let me share three distinctions between the two. First, the home plays a more prominent role in the moral education than it does in formal education, meaning schooling. And that's because parents have a decided advantage over teachers in four important ways. Number one, parents can give exclusive time to the middot training process of their children. Number two, there's an informality. Informal home life provides middot development opportunities at times, places, and situations which are more conducive for middot growth in contrast to schools. Number three, the powerful love bond between parents and children will mitigate emotional discomfort children could feel when parents are supporting areas of growth that require change. And four, in the life of a child, most likely, I say most likely, is his parents are going to be his most effective and greatest role models. And note that role modeling is the most effective educational tool for middot development. So clearly, one distinction between middot development, middot education, and mitzvot education is the role the home plays. Let's look at distinction number two. If each child is unique, then his character is unique. And therefore his development of character needs to be unique, especially in his early years of life. And this focus on his uniqueness requires, again, a significant investment of time and knowledge and understanding of the child from the earliest moments of life. Now, although Al-Pi Darko is necessary for all areas of education, but when it comes to middot education, it even has a greater emphasis. You've got to, which goes beyond just necessary, which of course puts the emphasis on the home and less on the school. And the third distinction in middot education is that middot themselves are completely thought-based. They're habits of the mind. In other words, a midah is a thought of a child or an adult thinking about a certain behavior. Carrying out that behavior comes as a result of the thought of that midah. So when we do middot training, we're training the thought and how the child should think about things, and then how it would come to fruition, it'll come into action. So that is because middot are not concrete, but they're abstract. So we have to try to train them in order to get children to understand. Children do not understand things which are abstract. They need concrete. So there's three areas to focus on when it comes to middot training. One is to reach mastery is to focus on concrete in contrast to abstract, to focus on experiential, kinesthetic, hands-on learning as opposed to non-hands-on or textual-based learning. And number three, that middot training should include impressionistic lessons. Now let me share with you a few methods and tools for middot training. We already mentioned that role modeling is probably the greatest method. And that, of course, requires nothing more than parents being impeccable role models, which we'll talk about later. Number two would be stories. Stories about family members, people who are close to the family, meaningful people, or books written about tzaddikim that children can read, be inspired, and can emulate the people who are being read about or spoken about. Then there's also the idea of middot albums, like the Marvelous Middot Machine, kosher videos, right, or middot programs. The Chafetz Chaim Heritage Foundation creates programs which children can actually be involved in, hands-on activities which are very, very, very effective. There's the idea of role-playing, acting things out. And the final one is all middot begin with a thought, and that's something we've already kind of touched on just a moment ago in terms of middot being more habit of the mind. And we'll continue this conversation in the next message. Have a good day.